Welcome to the model building workshop. And today I got a couple things I'm going to show you. One is we've been working on this Volkswagen Beetle for a while now. And I don't know if you can really see it from there. But I sprayed it blue and I had a problem with the spray can. I don't know if you can see that pebbly finish on there. Because what happened is the spray can, and this does happen from time to time, it began to spit the paint and yucky globs, and so it's got this pitted, bumpy finish, which is, I mean, you could leave it like that, but it's, I don't know, I was pretty disappointed with it. So I do have some paint stripper here, and I'm going to demonstrate how that stuff works. Obviously, this is something that if you're going to do with your kids, you don't want to do this with your kids. This is something that's for parents to do, for adults. So I have this scale coat paint wash away paint remover here, and I know it's a little pricey. I got this one from AA Hobbies in Warwick for about $16, which I know it's quite a bit. But the bonus is that you can keep reusing this stuff. So I have it in this container here. Don't laugh at my container, but you know where I got that, right? But anyway, so I'm gonna dunk it into this solution and try to wash it off. And I've done this before. It does tend to work, although I don't know if I've got paper towels handy. That would be helpful. Yeah, I got some over here. All right. So I'm going to let that sit in there and try to take that off and see if I can just start this whole thing again. Because that was a bit of a mess. I'm going to try to let this thing soak. Kind of like a Palmolive commercial. For those of you that remember that ad. Anyhow, so I'm going to let that kind of sit and see if I can wash that off. This might take some time. In the meantime, while we're watching that happen, for those of you that were watching the episodes on the Panzer II, this is where the Panzer II is at the moment. So I've got a coat of spray paint on there. So that's what it is now. It's in a desert tan color. And I found a line of paints that had the official, Africa Corps desert color. But upon looking around, I noticed that this Tamiya spray paint, which is AS-15, which is a tan for the U.S. Air Force, kind of a modern tan color for the Air Force, but this is a very good equivalent to the Africa brown color that the Germans used in World War II. So I sprayed it with this to get this tone on there. So that's where that is at the moment. And I've got a lot of detail work to do. Like I want to paint the tires, and I got to add the decals and do some other things to it. I might add some rust to the muffler. The muffler could use some dirtying up. I got the tools like the jack and the hammer and the shovel to paint. The gun needs to be painted. Gotta look at the decals and come up with an Africa Corps paint scheme for it. Got the figure I'm working on. So that's where that is at the moment. So for those of you that were watching that, that's where that is. All right, so I'm starting to see some of the paint lift off this. This might take a while. Yeah, I can start seeing it coming off now. I got a toothbrush, which I'm going to use to, yeah, it starts to chip right off. If you can see that from there. Hopefully you can, because I'm not going to pick it up and move it over to you. But yeah, it works fairly quickly. And it's certainly possible that that's what happened to this model before. Because I had noticed someone had painted it and scraped it off, so this is beginning to think this kit might have been cursed. So as I'm scraping this paint off, I got to rethink the entire painting of this model, because the blue that I had, you don't know. Sometimes you get a defective can, or maybe the humidity or something wasn't right, and it just made a mess. And it could have just rusted it out, made it a really beat up Volkswagen, but I didn't want to go quite to that extreme with this model. So I'm rethinking of all kinds of things, and one of my thoughts at this point with this model, I believe I showed you this in one of the other episodes. So I have this kit, right? The knockoff of Herbie the Love Bug. So like I said, this model is actually a World War II military Volkswagen kit that they repackaged to make it look like, the racing Herbie version. But it's got the open top, and it's the wrong period. It's a war period. It doesn't have the same look. I mean, you could do this with it, make it like a rally car. You could, but I'm thinking I might do this one as the military car it's supposed to be, but take these decals and put those on this model, which is a 1960s version Volkswagen. So maybe I can paint this white and make this one Herbie. So that's a thought that's in my mind, but as you can see, this is an ever-changing process in my head, because as things continue to go wrong on this kit, I have to adapt and come up with other ideas. So flexibility is really a key in any hobby, because sometimes things just don't go well at all. On the other hand, sometimes things go great, like this one's going great, because it went together well, the paint's going on well. Hopefully the decals will go on well, because there's many times when that doesn't work. So yeah, you just it's not done till it's done, right? And you never know how it's going to work until the very last step. But hey, it's part of the fun of the hobby, is the whole adventure of building and painting and decal, the whole process. So as you can see, this is coming off. Try not to touch this stuff because it's kind of rough stuff. Well, like I said, what's good, I can just pour this back into the bottle, and I can use this again and again and again. So we're getting there. We are getting there. And then on future episodes of the Model Building Workshop, I'm planning on getting into a 1/48 scale Japanese fighter plane. So that's on my radar. No pun intended there. But that's something I'm looking at doing in a future episode. And I'm going to work on working on a, like I said, a Japanese fighter plane from the late 1930s. It's going to have fixed landing gear, the non-retractable. And I'm going to demonstrate with that model, it's my plan anyway, of showing how that's a good type of plane to sometimes it's good to start with something like that, because the fixed landing gear usually is more kid-friendly. Because a lot of kids in the program, I've noticed, they're not the biggest fans of doing the wheels. The undercarriage is always something that bothers them. So they frequently like to do the models with the wheels up in flying mode. But with the planes that have the fixed landing gear, it's usually just a very simple you know, the wheel and 2 covers, and that's it. And you mount it in, and there's no fuss with it. So anyway, that's something I'm looking at for future episodes, so you can stay tuned for that. As you can see, it's starting to strip down pretty good. So there's hope that I'll come up with some other option on this. You can see the inside paint's peeling off as well, so I got to redo the whole thing. Yuck. Okay, I think you get the idea, and that's starting to work, which is good. I'll try not to get it all over me, which it is a little bit. All right, I gotta go wash up. Okay, so that's what I got for today, and in future episodes, like I said, maybe we'll look at airplanes, and I'll keep you posted on how the Volkswagen and the Panzer II, how they work out. All right, thanks for watching, and hope to see you guys soon, okay? Thanks. Bye.